Hello, everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Stop the Internet Podcast. I'm your host, Kelee.
And I'm Tricia.
And today, we're talking about Am I the Asshole? Christmas edition or Holiday edition. I'm currently dressed as Santa. Well, I guess we both are, technically.
Yeah.
If you're watching on video, you may appreciate my Santa hat and beard. I like it.
I love it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
We also have representation from other holidays in the middle of us. So a lot of these stories are about Christmas, but I feel like they apply to all holiday gatherings in general.
Yeah.
So yeah, we don't need to be exclusive or just Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
We love talking about all family drama and all holidays.
Yes. It's the holiday season.
Yes. So, should we do a fact? Should we do a Christmas-themed fact?
Ooh, yes. Okay.
Okay. Well, in case you didn't know, Trish and I are cousins. So, we grew up celebrating Christmas together. I cannot take myself seriously looking at the screen wearing this, but I'm going to do it in the entirety of the intro. So,
Perfect.
I have to keep it on.
Yeah. Commit.
Yes. Once I commit to a bit, I just can't.
Yeah.
That can be my fun fact. I love a bit. This will be my fun fact today. Wearing the weird outfits while doing a completely normal task, like dressing up as witches during Halloween, and the Santa hats. The Santa's less crazy. It's just a hat. But anyway, that's just like the epitome of my humor. And when we dress as ghosts, I'm like, that was
hilarious.
Peak humor for me. So that's my fact. Also, we're cousins and we grew up celebrating Christmas together. Mm-hmm. My fact was not Christmas themed, but that's okay.
Okay, hold on. I have to think of one. Christmas themed. Oh, okay. So when we were little, my siblings and I used to be part of the nativity at church.
Aww.
Like, you know how there was for us at least, there was always a special mass for little kids, and all these little kids would dress up.
Yes.
That's part of the nativity.
I love that.
So we had these angel costumes at our house for this time of year, and my sister and I loved to just wear them all the time around our house during Christmas time, and pretend we were angels, which we were not. So
I love that. You guys were
there's
angels.
my Christmas fact.
I love that fact. That's so cute and pure.
Yeah.
Angels. Okay, let's get into it. Am I the asshole? I'm turning my hat around. Whoa, that's not Santa.
What? You smell like beef and cheese.
I love the movie Elf.
Same.
It's one of my favorite movies. I could watch it anytime.
Mm-hmm. My sister was just watching the Pink Panther last night, and that used to be my siblings and I are collectively our favorite movie together. We would quote it all the time.
I remember that.
And yes, it was our trademark. But she was just watching it last night and sent a Snapchat video of when he's parking his smart car in the beginning.
I do not remember the movie at all.
I didn't remember that scene, but I was dying. I was like, that is peak humor. And so I think Elf is along the same vein. It's just the perfect movie.
I remember there's a scene in the Pink Panther that you and your siblings were obsessed with, and there was some sort of recording booth, and it said, "Do not open the door when the light is on," but the light was blinking.
Yeah.
So the main guy or whatever,
Steve Martin.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. He watches the light and then makes sure to open the door super quickly when the light is not blinking on.
Yeah.
But that's not the point. I remember you guys would always talk about that, and it was so funny.
We were obsessed.
I know.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a wholesome movie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get into it. Okay, let's start off with a hard hitter. Am I the asshole for telling my son that he ruined Christmas for me and his stepdad when he decided to spend it with his dad? Me, female, and my ex-husband, male, are divorced. We have a 16-year-old son together, Mason. I got remarried to my husband, male, Nathan. My ex-husband and I used to argue on who should get Mason for the holidays back when he was little. As he got older, we started letting him decide. Last year, he spent Christmas with me, Nathan, and my in-laws, and he complained that the experience was terrible terrible because he said Nathan and his family had little to no accommodation for his food choices. I'm not defending them, but my in-laws are quite traditional when it comes to food and a bit ignorant to what types of foods Mason eats. He also said he didn't feel as welcome as the other kids in the family and that Nathan forced him to share his personal stuff, like his phone, so that his step-nephews could watch Christmas movies. Yesterday, during breakfast, we were talking about Christmas and what we were planning this year, but he out of nowhere announced that he'll be spending his Christmas with his dad at a rental Christmas cottage in his favorite town. I was stunned, so was Nathan. I asked Mason when and how he agreed to this arrangement, but he pointed back to what happened last Christmas and said he didn't want to basically have another shitty holiday and be miserable. I told him that his dad should have come to me first, but he argued that he's already okayed it, and so he saw no need for my opinion. We started arguing, and he started complaining about me trying to ruin the experience, but in response, I told him that he already ruined Christmas for me and his stepdad the minute he agreed to this arrangement. He got up and walked away after saying that I was being overdramatic. Nathan just sat there and looked down. I had a huge argument on the phone with Mason's dad, and he kept giving me attitude and laughing and saying I sounded pathetic. When I told him I'd have my lawyer call him, he backpedaled and said he wouldn't have done this if Mason didn't like it. He urged me to drop it and let Mason have this experience or he'll resent me for missing it. Now Mason isn't speaking to me. Nathan is trying to convince him to stay with us because without him, our Christmas is ruined, but he won't budge from the looks of it. Am I the asshole for not dropping it as well? What I meant by why didn't his dad come to me first is that he planned to take Mason out of town, which is a big deal for me. There's going to be traveling.
Okay, yes, you are the asshole.
Yes.
Don't drag your kids into your relationship issues.
Yeah.
Between their parents, like,
yeah.
No.
Also, you said it yourself. We used to decide about where he went, but once Mason got older, you started letting him decide. So if you give him the freedom to decide, how are you going to get mad at him when he picks what he prefers just because it's not you? If you're going to get mad at him for picking after you offer him the choice, you're not really offering him the choice, are you?
No. She sounds immature.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think she needs to kind of check herself.
And he's 16, so I'm sure he's more than capable of choosing what he wants to do. He probably knows like the consequences of it, and he still is going forward with that choice.
I feel like she's priding herself on giving him the illusion of the choice.
Yeah.
She's like, yeah, you pick, but she knows he's going to pick her.
Yeah.
But then he didn't, and she gets sad.
I mean, who would say no to a Christmas cottage in your favorite town?
Yeah.
That sounds adorable.
That sounds amazing. And he did Christmas with you last year. So even if he had a wonderful experience, he's still justified in wanting to spend time with his dad.
Yeah, exactly.
And on top of him being justified, it's like he's further justified in the fact that your new husband's family didn't treat him very well. So why would he continue to pick that? I think she's a little bit entitled, and yes, the asshole. That was the overall vote on Reddit.
Okay, good. All right, so we have our first Christmas asshole.
Yes. Oh, should we make a tally?
We could.
Oh my God, let's make a tally.
Asshole number 1.
Okay, wait, should we write it down or something?
I can. Do you want it so that you can like see it, or
do
you want me to just like have a note on my phone?
Which one should we do? It would be funny if it was a tally.
That would be
okay.
Funny.
Let's do that. I love it. Okay. Our first Christmas asshole. Love it. Am I the asshole for calling my wife unreasonable for backing out of spending Christmas with my family after my mother rejected her cookie sample? For context, every holiday, my mother would ask the women in the family, my sister, sister-in-law, my wife, my female cousins, to send samples of the desserts they planned to bring to the celebration for testing and to see if these desserts could make it to the food menu. My wife has been complaining about my mother deliberately rejecting every dessert sample she sent. So many times, my mother has told her that she's being honest and keeping the guest's best interests at heart. Yet my wife still thought that my mother is deliberately excluding her since 2 of her dessert samples were rejected before. For this year's Christmas, my mother is doing the same thing, but this time she told every woman who is participating to make a cookie sample and send it to her for testing. My wife took it as a challenge, and to be honest, she worked really hard to make a good sample and sent it to my mother days ago, and the results just came in yesterday. I came home from work and found my wife upset. I asked what's wrong, and she told me that my mother rejected the sample she sent and decided to exclude her baking from the food list for Christmas this this year. I didn't know what to say, but then she told me she was backing out of the invitation to attend Christmas with my family. I was stunned when I heard her make this statement. I tried to talk to her, but she said it was done. I called her unreasonable to decide to bail on the whole family over some cookie sample. That's just freaking crazy and quite unreasonable. We had a full-on argument about it, and she stated that my mother caused this, but I told her that my mother is pretty serious and careful about the food that she offers to guests since we're going to have relatives coming from all sides of the country. She told me to stop mentioning it. Later, I heard her cry despite telling her that her baking is amazing and people have preferences. That's all. Am I the asshole for insisting that her decision was unreasonable? I think maybe.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sounds like an asshole. His mom sounds like an asshole.
I think, yeah, he is an asshole, but it's like I see where you're coming from because you're like, oh, well, my mom just wants the best of the best. But then to just be like, you're unreasonable. It's like, maybe talk to her without calling her names.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just kind of rude.
I know. And she was crying. Like, that's so sad.
I know.
Just trying to make good cookies for Christmas.
I know.
Wow, that's so sad.
Yeah.
Keeps getting rejected.
I can't believe their family takes Christmas that seriously.
I know.
That they like have a cookie bake-off basically to decide whose is. Just have them all.
Yes, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's wild. He said a few other things. My wife wasn't the only one whose sample was rejected. We have sister-in-law, my brother's wife, and my younger sisters. My mother did not force anyone to participate. It was up to whoever wanted to take part. This is just about the dessert since my mother tends to be very careful in this category, but for other types of foods, dishes, appetizers, salads, stuff like that, she is welcome as stated. Okay.
If the mother-in-law is trying to send a message and the daughter-in-law doesn't show up to Christmas, the mother-in-law wins.
Very true.
You gotta show up, happy as can be, and maybe even bring your cookies despite the rejection.
Yeah.
And a nice gift for your mother-in-law.
Yeah. I kind of feel like the mother-in-law is not doing it to make a point, though. Like, I think she's probably just crazy, and she doesn't understand that when you reject someone 2 years in a row, it makes them feel sad.
Yeah.
Because to the mother-in-law, she's like, oh, no, I'm just picking the 3 best ones.
Yeah. I'm just crazy and don't realize I'm being hurtful.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the guy is an asshole, though, but it's not because you sided with your mom. Mm-hmm. It's because you called your wife unreasonable when she was getting upset for something that seems kind of reasonable.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe she takes pride in her baking and she was just sad when 2 years in a row her baking wasn't chosen as the best. And then even if she's wrong, she still feels sad and as if your mom is targeting her. Mm-hmm. So if you believe that your mom isn't targeting her, why don't you just explain that to your wife?
Yeah.
Without, like I said, calling her names. So yeah, I think
Simple
asshole.
As that.
There's a slight update. Great. So I just got off the phone with my brother and he told me that his wife is doing the same thing as my wife and that she has also decided to back out of the invitation to spend Christmas with the family as well. Turns out my wife must have told her about her decision and she decided to follow her lead. My brother is pissed, saying my wife is encouraging his wife to do this. I see. Add 2 to the list. I see that the problem has just gotten bigger now. Who knows? My younger sister might join in and decide not to go as well. I don't know how this got out of control so quickly. I guess we'll try to have a discussion with my mother about this soon and see how it goes. So that's what you should have done from the start.
Yeah.
And maybe just explain to your mom, like, you don't need to refuse to have people's cookies on the table. Like, who cares?
It sounds like the situation was out of control just from the start.
Yeah, agreed.
Like, these people are volunteering their baked goods and their time, and you're rejecting them, and that's crazy. It's not like you're paying a caterer and you're tasting the menu.
Yeah, they're doing you a favor.
Right.
By bringing the cookies to your party for your guests.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, I think the mom's just kind of whack. But I don't know if she has bad intentions. I think she's probably just old and set in her ways. Mm-hmm. And she probably just doesn't understand that it's a family party. Like, it's okay to have multiple different kinds of cookies that aren't all your number one choice. Like, maybe other people would like other cookies just because you don't.
That's a good point, too, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think the husband had bad intentions, but he definitely came off asshole-ish. Mm-hmm. I'd say add him to the list.
Yeah, number 2.
The overall vote on that one was asshole as well.
Oh, good. So there's hope for the world.
This hat is making my forehead so itchy. I don't think I can keep it on.
I know. I was thinking that too.
We can take them off.
Okay.
Like, you have to keep it on. I don't know how Santa does it. Okay, moving on. Am I the asshole for accepting my family's Christmas invitation despite my husband being upset? I, female 32, met this wonderful man, Philip, male 36, 2 years ago. We got married 4 months ago. For context, I have a 10-year-old son named Billy from my previous relationship, and my ex isn't in the picture. I have to admit that Philip's relationship with my family isn't so great. They would disagree on a lot of things. For example, he had an argument with my dad when he said that he was keeping their grandson away from them, but Philip stated he wasn't and that he couldn't visit with Billy because he had work. I was sick at the time. What does that mean? I think that was written in a confusing way, but we think what OP means is that Philip was watching Billy and the grandfather wanted to come over and see his grandson, and Philip said, you can't come that day because they're working and we're sick.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll go with it.
The latest argument was what made things worse. My mom and sister were discussing natural remedies, they're into that kind of stuff, for my niece, and Philip, he's a pediatrician, called both of them ignorant for not using meds instead, which caused a huge argument and Philip being no longer welcome at my parents' house. Now, they'd sent me and Billy an invitation for Christmas, which did not include Philip, which I expected given how strained their relationship has become. I called my mom to confirm that I'll attend, but the minute Philip found out, he went off saying he could not believe I was fine with my family excluding him, and then agreed to go and leave him behind. I told him it's their celebration and I don't get to decide their guest list for them. And also, I'm not leaving him behind because we did not have any plans for Christmas. He said he thought that we'd automatically celebrate together, the three of us, but now I'm taking Billy away from him as well. I thought that was a bit melodramatic because it's literally just a few hours at my parents' home, but he insisted it was about principle and respect. We had a big argument, and I said that he basically alienated himself by continually picking arguments with my family, but he started ranting, saying it wasn't about the fact that they didn't invite him, but the fact that I was willing to let him spend Christmas alone without me and Billy. We went back and forth on the issue, but do not seem to reach a solution. My parents are used to spending every major holiday with Billy, so you can see how much pressure I'm getting from both sides here.
You're an asshole.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
There's a very simple solution to this. Just ask him how he felt before you made the decision. Like, why didn't she just ask her husband, hey, I know you didn't get invited, but I know Billy's grandparents are going to want to see him and he should see his grandparents on Christmas. Do you mind if I take him over there for a few hours and we can do something together all the other time?
Mm-hmm.
Why did she just decide? And then she just didn't tell him?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm not leaving you alone because we didn't even have plans.
Right. That's hard. You're married. Like,
yeah.
I would be so annoyed if I were Philip.
Yeah. I would
my significant other just like went off and did Christmas without me. And they were like, oh, I'm not leaving you behind because we didn't make plans. What?
Bizarre. Yeah. And then she's like, oh, he's not going to be left alone. We didn't have plans anyway. How does that mean he's not left alone?
Yeah.
Now he's left with no plans.
Mm-hmm. And alone.
OP, how do you not know that that's problematic? Okay. Overall vote was asshole. Top comment was, yes, the asshole. You're right. You don't get to decide the guest list for them. However, you do get to decide whether or not you spend Christmas with your husband. Every married couple I know would automatically expect to spend Christmas together, which is what Trish just said. So true. That's what you said, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was like, wait.
Did I just make that up that you said that? Yeah. I think it's bizarre that she's literally married and she didn't automatically assume that her and her husband were going to spend a major holiday together.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Very odd. Yes, asshole. Communicate.
Yes.
I'm
sorry, Philip.
Yeah, Philip got the short end of the stick on that one. Speaking of in-laws Christmas... Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my in-laws' Christmas dinner? My husband's family has a tradition of always eating out at a pizza restaurant for Christmas Eve dinner. Once we got married, it was expected that I would join the family for this. Problem is, I cannot eat dairy, and this particular restaurant only has pizza, no dairy-free food at all. So last year, I chose not to attend the dinner and just meet up with everyone after. My husband attended the dinner. My mother-in-law was upset with me because they usually exchange presents at the restaurant and said it was rude of me to not attend, but I didn't want to watch watch everyone else eat, and I chose not to go. During this past year, my husband was diagnosed with lactose intolerance and doesn't eat much dairy now either. So we suggested that this year we would make homemade pizzas. That way, it was still the pizza tradition, but we could make dairy-free options for ourselves. My mother-in-law said no and said that I specifically was ruining their family's tradition. She said we should all go to the restaurant still, and the two of us should just eat beforehand. I still have no interest in watching everyone else eat. My husband and I are refusing to join them and are instead making plans to spend Christmas Eve with my family. We were told we are ruining Christmas for the whole family. I'm starting to wonder if I'm being too stubborn and we should just go to the restaurant and make everyone happy. So I'd like to know, am I the asshole for refusing to go to the dinner?
Okay,
No.
yeah, my first no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at all. The mom is wild.
Yes. She can't eat dairy. Like,
She has an actual food allergy that will make her physically ill. So you want her to either not eat at dinner or eat something that makes her physically ill?
yeah. And now the husband has an intolerance to it as well.
Yeah. So you want your son and his wife to just watch everyone else eat, and that's your solution. Is just eat before and then just sit around and do absolutely nothing while we all eat.
Yeah.
And then we'll exchange presents once we're all done eating. What?
Excuse me?
Girly.
And to say that they're ruining Christmas for everyone
Yeah.
is so funny.
Because just as easily OP and her husband could say, you're ruining Christmas
Oh,
because
true.
you're taking away our Christmas experience because we have an allergy.
Yeah.
And now you're, making our experience bad. So
True.
like, OP could say that too, but she
Yeah.
seems level-headed and she wouldn't just accuse someone of ruining their Christmas just because they made one decision about a dinner. People get so worked up about the holidays.
They really do.
Sometimes I'm like, it's okay if traditions change or if you make a slight adjustment. Like, here's maybe a solution. Call the restaurant and say, we go here every year. Would it be possible to make one little pizza without dairy cheese or dairy-free cheese, if that exists, or just without cheese? Is there any other food options that we can offer to my son and his wife because they have a food allergy?
Right.
Restaurants know that people have food allergies. I'm sure you won't be the first person to ask them that. And then wouldn't that make it more clear to your child and his wife that you really care to have them there? Instead of just accusing them and getting mad that they're not coming, wouldn't it be a more positive experience for everyone for you to ask them, is there anything I can do to have you there? How can we make it a good experience for everyone while considering your food allergy? And now OP thinks she might be an asshole? No. The mother-in-law. It's crazy.
Yeah, how dare she put that thought into OP's head?
I know.
You're not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
You just can't eat pizza.
You're ruining Christmas.
For,
It's like
for everyone, as if she asked.
Yeah.
Everyone, like, please.
insane. Top comment, not the asshole. Family traditions can adapt due to changes in family dynamics. Is spending Christmas Eve about family or pizza? Facts. I'd say no.
No.
Should we add a tally for the mother-in-law?
Oh, we could, yeah. Yeah, we should.
Yeah, and we'll add a no for OP. Another one of the Reddit comments was, it's not about family or pizza, it's about control, which I think is the most likely. So that's why mother-in-law's getting a tally under yes, the asshole.
Yes.
I love that we have a no here. Yay.
So positive. The Christmas spirit.
Yes. Am I the asshole for blaming my partner for ruining my Christmas decorations? I love Christmas, a crazy amount. I have 5 Christmas trees, hundreds of decorations, etc. I converted the shed for my partner when he moved in 3-ish years ago to be a workshop and attempt to start a small business from home. He didn't start using it until the beginning of this year. The problem is, the shed got trashed. He just can't focus on anything else but the project at hand. He literally ran out of room in there due to rubbish, so he moved to the garage. I can't even park my car in there for the last year. I've tried to clean it, all of it, for months, but he gets upset and says he'll do it and refuses to let me in there. I started the clean out today, and honestly, my heart is broken. There are mouse feces and urine in everything. I've hand knitted Christmas teddies that are older than me, and the mice got into the storage container. All of my decorations are filthy, and the boxes are stained from the pee. It stinks beyond belief. My trees are covered in it. I don't even know how to start fixing it. I know not all of it is ruined. I can clean a lot, but this is thousands of dollars of decorations, and it's not about the money. 95% of the things have a story or were gifted for my birthday or my grandmother knitted them, etc. This is years and years of friends and family gifting me things that I love. I can't replace the sentiment if the items are ruined. I was really upset and he could tell, so I told him, I'm upset about my Christmas things. He said, are you saying it's my fault? So I replied, yes. I don't think you did it intentionally, but the state in there caused this. He said there was never any food in there and there were mice when it got cleaned out for the workshop. So I said, yeah, but the state it's in, and you wouldn't let me in there because you're embarrassed, means I couldn't be proactive and lay traps or move the things that mean a lot to me. He basically lost it. He said, I'm sorry you're upset. It sucks they got ruined, but it's not my fault. I never left food in there. He rarely yells, but he raised his voice and said I'm in the wrong for accusing him of being at fault here. He's been avoiding me since, and things are tense. Am I the asshole? Do I just not understand how mice work? I know I'm partly to blame because I should have put my foot down months ago and just cleaned it out. There are other things at play, which is making it really hard for me to know if I'm overreacting or if I'm justified to be upset. I feel like an ass for blaming him, but my heart hurts for what I've lost, and I feel bad because they're just possessions. This is so sad.
Yeah.
I'm a very sentimental person, and sentimental objects mean more to me than expensive objects most of the time. So I really feel for her. I would be so sad if a sweater that my grandma knit for me got destroyed because my partner refused to let me clean the storage place that they were in.
Yeah.
I'm so sad.
Yeah, that sucks. Part of me is like, it's not totally his fault because I don't, like, maybe he didn't realize there were mice. So I don't know. I don't remember.
So the partner just let it get out of hand. He let the mess get out of hand. So whether he knew that there were mice or not, he would not allow OP to clean the room.
Okay. But yeah, so I'm saying, like, maybe if he knew that there were mice, he would have been a little bit more like willing to let her or him go in and clean their stuff.
Maybe. I kind of feel like the partner might have some sort of mental health issue that they're dealing with that's causing them to maybe avoid cleaning up. And then that problem that they're facing and dealing with is causing them to lash out whenever the OP tries to step in and help them. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's something that they're embarrassed of or something that makes them feel bad about themselves. So then when OP tries to go in there and clean, their pride kind of gets to them and he's like, no, don't do it. Like, I will do it. But then his mental health is like continuing to not let him fix the problem, which is a really heartbreaking cycle. Yeah. And then especially when it ends in the destruction of someone's property. Yeah. So I think that's a possibility, but sadly, there's not going to be a solution to that unless the partner wants to seek help or get some kind of help for whatever he may be going through, if that is the case. But I think that it's a little tough when the partner says, I'm sorry you're upset. And it's, what did he say? I'm sorry you're upset and it sucks that they're ruined, but it's not my fault. I never left food in there.
Yeah, like that's not the only way that mice will come into a space and like ruin things.
Like maybe that's just where they live and then they go and get food somewhere else and they bring it back to their house that's like a cozy little shithole, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't understand mice either, but yeah, I think that a lot of places have mice go into sheds all the time and none of them have food. Right. So I think him snapping at her and saying that is not okay and that's asshole-ish. And I think that OP has every right to be upset and she didn't even snap at the partner. She explained to him. The way that she said it seemed very level-headed and honest. She just said, yes, I think it's your fault. You didn't do it intentionally, but the state in there caused it, which I think is very fair. Yeah. Maybe he feels like he's being attacked, but how else are you supposed to say it? You're voicing how you feel and the reason why. And I don't think you're an asshole.
No, you're just sad.
Yeah.
About your Christmas decorations. So.
As you should be.
So number 2 for no?
Yes. And the overall vote on that one was also not the asshole.
We're killing it.
Yes.
I want this to be like a close competition.
Okay. Am I the asshole for not letting my future mother-in-law's boyfriend come to Christmas? My 23 female boyfriend, 25 male, of 2+ years, and I have started making holiday plans, and logistics have been a nightmare. My parents are local, and we are celebrating with them on the 24th. His parents are divorced, have been for 15 years, and his mom lives out of state. The one time of year she comes to visit is Christmas time. We have offered to let her stay with us since his dad has downsized to an apartment, and he and my boyfriend's sister, female 18, don't have room for her, and she was already pretty upset that my sister-in-law wouldn't give up her bed and sleep on the couch for her. We also agreed to have Christmas morning at our apartment. Anyways, she dropped it on us that she would only be staying with us from the 17th to the 21st, and after that, she would be spending the rest of her stay with her new boyfriend who is flying into town. Okay, great. Then, earlier today, she shocked everyone by telling us that she was spending Christmas Day with her new boyfriend and his parents and asked us to celebrate Christmas on the 20th instead. Everyone was pretty upset by this, especially my boyfriend. I could not believe that she would choose to spend the one holiday she gets to see her kids, not with her kids. Eventually, she said Christmas morning was fine to open presents as long as her boyfriend could come. Everyone was also pretty upset by this because none of us have met him, and they've only been dating a few months. I personally don't understand why he didn't want to spend Christmas with his own kids, but he's already paid for the airfare and lodging. My boyfriend asked her if she could not bring him, but she insisted she would not abandon her boyfriend on Christmas morning, and that if there was no him, there was no her. She ended up wearing everyone down, saying things like, I raised my kids better, or she's FaceTimed him once, so he's not a stranger. And everyone, except my boyfriend, agreed that because I got to come to Christmas last year, my boyfriend and I had been dating for a year already and lived together. I also had seen his dad and sister several times and spent time with them, that he could come. I was extremely insulted that my presence last year was compared to that of a stranger's and that it was weaponized in such a way. I'm pretty stubborn, and I insisted that I would not have a stranger in my house for Christmas morning. I'm a pretty private person. My opinion is that Christmas is for family, and my mother-in-law doesn't have the greatest relationship track record, so if he's not permanent, he's not coming. I suggested that if they were okay with it, Christmas morning could be at his dad's apartment, and they could host her boyfriend if they chose to. I also was amenable to having a meal all together outside of Christmas. The change in venue is what ended up being agreed to, but now my boyfriend's family is looking at me like I'm the bad guy because I held my boundary. I know it wasn't very Christmas spirit of me, but was I the asshole?
No.
I don't think so either. That's a very tough situation though.
Yeah.
Because you obviously kind of look bad in front of your boyfriend's family or your husband's family who are now your family.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really want a stranger in my house either on Christmas morning.
Yeah, especially, I feel like Christmas morning is different than even, like, dinner or something.
Yeah.
Like, Christmas morning's, like, pretty intimate.
Yeah.
At least in, like, my experience, but...
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so hard. It's so tough when your family or your in-laws think and feel a certain way and just can't be reasoned with, or you guys just can't come to an agreement even if you're both being reasonable.
Right.
Because in their minds, it's like, oh, well, OP's boyfriend last year had a girlfriend who is OP, and she was allowed to come, so why wouldn't this person's partner be allowed to come?
I know, I would be so insulted by that, too. I'd be like, don't compare me to this, but...
But at the same time, it's like, you were a girlfriend, and then the mom has a boyfriend.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I get you were dating for a year, but you gotta try to see how they see it.
Yeah.
So she's worried that she looks like the bad guy because she held her boundary. I think another thing is, like, if this family is family oriented, which it seems like you are because you want Christmas to be intimate with just family. I think this is something that isn't that big of a deal in the long term, and they will get over it. And if the mom and the boyfriend break up, they'll get over it even faster. They'll be like, well, you know what? At least she did hold that boundary and didn't let him come because he's gone now. And if they last forever, hopefully they can laugh about this in a few years. And when he is at Christmas, they can all make lighthearted jokes about, oh, look, I finally got the invite. And they'll all be like, oh, ha, 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 I'm so glad you're here now.
Yeah.
And then it's done. And then you never talk about it again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then, yeah, you've all come to terms with it.
Yeah.
It's been resolved. Just forget about it.
Yeah. I think not the asshole.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone is the asshole here.
Right.
I just think it's not even a miscommunication, but you guys just have different preferences and it's your home and you set your boundary and you stuck up for yourself. So I don't think that's asshole.
No, can't hate. hate you for that.
The overall vote was everyone sucks, which I don't agree with.
No, I don't think everyone sucks.
I don't think so either.
No, that's aggressive.
I really don't think any of them suck.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Not the asshole.
No, and you don't suck. All right, it's 4-3.
Wow, almost a tie. Am I the asshole for calling my wife entitled and humiliating her in front of my mom? My wife, my mom, and I have a huge point of contention when it comes to visits. We live about a 7.5-hour plane ride away from my mom, and there hasn't been a single visit in 5 years. My wife and my mom never had a great relationship. It wasn't too terrible, but just very different people, and they get on each other's nerves, so my wife doesn't want her to stay in the house. It makes me sad, but my wife feels the home needs to be a sanctuary, and no one who upsets her should be allowed to stay in her sanctuary, and I chose to support that. Her ideal visit would be my mom staying at a hotel and having designated visiting times. My mom says that we can make our rules, but we can't seriously expect her to put her time and effort into traveling to stay at a hotel. I also understand that train of thought. My wife, however, thinks my mom owes it to our kids to make the effort. My mom says my wife is selfish for expecting her to sacrifice her time, effort, and peace of mind just to be treated like a burden. I have told my wife to leave it alone. I called my mom recently to talk, and my wife came over and began making digs about how the kids don't recognize my mom and were asking if I actually had parents. My mom said that my wife needed to leave the conversation or she was going to just hang up. My wife said it was so sad that my mom just won't come and see her grandkids because she feels entitled to stay in our house. I just snapped and told my wife that she needed to stop acting entitled to my mom's time, energy, the money it would take to visit, and she is the entitled one. My mom began laughing and my wife looked devastated. I quickly hung up and tried to talk it out with my wife, but she was furious and said that I broke a cardinal rule of marriage by calling her out in front of my mom. I do get that, but I've given her my opinion in private so many times.
Okay, he's not the asshole.
Really? Okay.
No, I don't think so. I think the wife is the asshole. Just from that move that she did with the phone conversation.
That was definitely asshole-ish.
Yeah.
The fact that the wife is like coming over to a private call between her husband and his mom, and she's like, "Oh, it's so sad that your grandkids don't even recognize you."
That's horrible. I would feel so sad if that was... If I was like the mom and my daughter-in-law was saying that to me.
Yeah.
But, okay, I don't know. I guess no one's really in the right here.
Yeah, it's so hard because if the wife was just like, I don't want her to stay here, and that's all she did, and she held her boundaries in private, maybe not the asshole, but the fact that she's on the phone, like, rubbing it in, that's definitely asshole-ish, and the husband just had enough. I mean, it sucks that he snapped at her in front of others, and then the mom laughed, like...
Yeah, that's embarrassing, too, and, like, upsetting.
Yeah, and then it probably feels like to the wife that OP and his mom are ganging up on her, and nobody's supporting her emotions, which is not a good feeling either. I don't think the husband is an asshole, but I think what he did was still a mistake.
Yeah.
But I think he was reacting to somebody being an asshole, and it's really hard for people to keep their composure every time someone's like being rude to them.
Yeah.
Like, I think his response was not a good one, but I can see why he reacted that way. I wonder, though, if OP actually feels that way, though, or if that's just what he said in the heat of the moment.
It sounds like it was just the heat of the moment type of thing, because like the fact that the wife was using the word entitled and then he snapped back and said like, no, you're the entitled one. Like, it was just like maybe at the front of his mind, like that word, like he probably doesn't actually feel that way. I don't know, but that's what I would assume.
Yeah.
It's like when someone insults you and you've never actually had that thought about them, but it's like, no, you're that way. But it's like, I've never thought that to myself before ever. But just like right now, I have to like say something.
Yeah, he's just like throwing it back at her.
Yes.
He's like, no, you are.
Yeah, exactly. Like a child, but.
Yeah. I don't think he's an asshole.
No, I don't think so either.
overall vote was not the asshole.
Okay. Wait, I said no at the beginning, right?
I think so.
Okay. I don't remember.
The top comment is, not the asshole. I wouldn't come either. 7-hour plane ride to be told these are the times you can come while you're here, and then expect her to go back to her hotel and wait until you're ready for her to come back. Your wife is an instigator and a bully. Yeah, I think another thing is like, yeah, you might not love your mother-in-law more than you've ever loved someone, you know, maybe she's not your favorite person, but if you really care about your kids, which that was your argument when you were on the phone with her, like, oh, your grandkids don't recognize you. If your kids were actually what you cared most about and not just proving a point to your mother-in-law, you'd probably make their experience your priority. So making the trip for your mother-in-law harder isn't going to give your kids the best experience, because that's going to just decrease the chances that she actually comes. If you really wanted your kids to experience this time with their grandmother, you'd likely do everything in your power to get her to come, because it's already not easy flying 7 hours. So I just don't think that she really cares if her kids have time with their grandmother.
Yeah, and even if she does come, like, it sounds like there would be a lot of tension.
Yeah.
Too, which kids pick up on that stuff. So it just wouldn't be a good experience for them, unfortunately.
If she really cared about the kids, she'd just suck it up for the 5 days that the mother-in-law is staying with her. And that's the only time of the year you see her. That's the only time of the year that you need to, sacrifice your peace for your kids' experience.
Your sanctuary.
Yeah. And I get that the holidays should be happy and peaceful for you too. But if that's your priority, that's fine. But sometimes you need to put your kids' experience before yourself. And yeah, it's just like, what's more important to you? Your kids spending time with their grandmother or your peace for these 5 days? And if you choose your peace, that's fine. But then you can't say to your mother-in-law, your grandkids don't even know what you look like.
Yeah, that's bully behavior.
Yeah, and that's hypocritical. Wife's the asshole, OP is not. Done.
So no.
Oh my God, a tie.
Tied. Oh God.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, this is so fun. This one will be interesting for us because Trish and I were both raised Catholic, and this one is involving a religious family.
Ooh.
Okay. Would I be the asshole for not going to church and praying during Christmas while staying with my boyfriend's extremely religious family? I, 25, have been with my boyfriend, 24, for 2.5 years, and we plan on getting married and starting a family in the next few years. Neither of us are religious, but his family is extremely Catholic. I'm spending Christmas with them and know they expect me to go to church and pray throughout my time with them. Usually this wouldn't be a big deal. I did that plenty as a kid when sleeping at a religious friend's house. However, his mom's behavior makes me really hesitant to appease any of her religious-related expectations. She's extremely manipulative, controlling, and narcissistic. My boyfriend resents her for it, but has never been able to successfully stand up to her. She paints herself a victim and tears him down every time. Textbook stuff. I don't want to give her any reason to think that acting that way towards me will get her what she wants. She knows I'm not religious and has made her hate for that quite clear. A few things she's told me include, it breaks her heart that my parents didn't raise me religiously because children raised without religion become adults without morals. She'll raise hell if we're not married in a church with a Catholic priest. Our kids will be baptized and raised religiously, even if she has to take matters into her own hands. I have to accept being religious because it's a requirement for being part of her family. My boyfriend knows that she's made these statements and swears we won't have to deal with it in our future. However, he hasn't had that conversation with her yet. He tells me he's waiting for the right time, but I think he's just terrified of how she'll react. It's frustrating, but I know it's going to be a really ugly conversation and that it's not my place to speak for him. Still, I'd be shocked if she genuinely thinks he is religious. Everyone else in his family knows he's not and is fine with it. My suspicion is that she does know, hates it, thought she'd be able to keep controlling him anyways, feels threatened that he's with an outspoken non-religious girl and resents me for it, and is now trying to scare me into either becoming religious or leaving him. Would I be the asshole to politely decline going to church and praying with them over the Christmas holiday? It seems necessary for letting her know that manipulation doesn't work on me, but I am worried that declining will cause her to start a fight in front of the entire family and force my boyfriend into a hard but ultimately necessary conversation.
Yikes.
I do not think that OP is an asshole at all.
No.
Once again, very difficult situation involving in-laws.
I think that so far this might be the most difficult that we've heard.
I think so too, because when it comes to religion, it's just a different ball game.
Yeah, and I just feel like it's always like very emotionally charged when you're like talking about this with other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if your boyfriend's family was super, super religious and you were very anti whatever they believed in, how do you think you would react?
In my head right now, I'm going back and forth between like it's in some way like respectful to go to church and like participate in their almost like tradition more so, and just like observe that as like this family's tradition that you're just partaking in, and like that can be showing them that you respect that they are part of this religion and that they practice, and that you don't have any like qualms with that. But the other part of me is like, it's really none of their business of like what you believe, and to be like forcing this onto someone else is not their job. It's not what Jesus wants.
Yeah.
Like, it's not right to do that to someone and like make them uncomfortable and manipulate them. And, you know, if they've made this choice in their life to like not practice exactly what you're practicing.
Yeah. This is really tough because I feel like I don't know anyone who, like, this is like the opposite of my family. If someone started dating someone in our family, majority of our extended family is Catholic, even if you're not a consistently practicing Catholic. Like, I wouldn't say that I'm Catholic, but I was raised Catholic, and our family isn't gonna shun me because of that or make me feel bad about it.
Yeah.
So this is hard to relate to. I like experiencing other religions. So I think it's interesting when you get to go, like when I get to go over my Jewish friend's house and see how they handle religious traditions. But I guess it's different when you know that you don't agree or believe in the religion and it's being pushed on you. And if you don't set boundaries now, it's possible that it will be pushed on your children later.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it sounds like it's a definite in her future.
Yeah.
That the mother-in-law said she'll take matters into her own hands. And,
yeah.
You know, it's like, yeah, this is your one chance.
You're right. It's almost like you need to set the standard now. That, yeah, exactly what OP was saying. It's like, yeah, I think she's fully in the right, actually, because, yeah, she doesn't stand up for herself now and make it clear that the manipulation and the forcing the religion on everyone, it's not going to fly with OP or their future children. I think it is very important that you set those boundaries, and it's scary to say it, but it might ruin your relationship with the mother-in-law.
Yeah.
Like, you might get disowned, but what's worse, getting disowned and starting a new family experience and putting your energy into other family members and friends that are going to create a positive experience and life for you and your children? Or don't say anything, don't cut ties with her, but be manipulated and deal with this woman's bullshit for the 20 years that you're raising your children.
Yeah.
I feel like cutting the cord might be the necessary thing, or just setting the boundary and seeing what happens, even if the worst case scenario is it ends your relationship with her.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, she's not the asshole.
No,
it would be asshole. And it would be one thing if she was like rude about it herself, but she sounds, like I was saying earlier, she does sound pretty respectful of this. Like, I'm sure she can appreciate that this family practices a faith and they, you know, like maintain their whatever, like traditions and this culture of this religion. Like, I'm sure she can appreciate that. She's not like disrespecting that in any regards.
Yeah.
That would make her an asshole.
True.
But she is not an asshole. She just doesn't want to do something that sounds like makes her uncomfortable.
Yeah. Like, she just doesn't want to engage in the traditions that she doesn't feel tied to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the husband does need to have that conversation, and he should probably have it with her prior to Christmas. So now's probably a good time to have the conversation. So when Christmas comes, you guys can all be on the same page. It can be figured out.
Yeah, no surprises.
Yes, but not the asshole.
No. All right, No is in the lead.
Uh-oh. Okay, I feel like we need another asshole one. Let's see.
Give us an asshole.
Am I the asshole for not getting a gift for my partner, specifically on her birthday and Christmas? I would like to preface this by saying I am not one for special events and waiting for a particular day to receive gifts. If I find something my girlfriend likes, I will just buy it for her because I like to see the smile on her face when she sees it. I purchased lots of things that are worth quite a bit, $1,000 in total this year alone, and I would never expect to receive the same amount back in gifts given by her, as she does not get paid as much as me. She was saying she just wants something to open and be surprised by on her birthday and Christmas. I have always given her a card on her birthday, but I have never left anything to a surprise, which I think she wants. My problem with this is that she might not like what I get for her, as I am really bad at buying gifts for people. I am one of the people who would rather know what they are getting, especially with computer hardware, than a surprise. Okay. Good thing you included that.
Yes, thank God.
This year, I am getting her and I oath rings because they are pretty, and I sent them to her to check if she would like them because she is picky with jewelry. For the last 2 years as well, I have given her a Christmas present. She says that I keep holding what I purchased over her head and is annoyed because I said I will take them back. This is true. Okay. This is true, but I mean take back and given as a Christmas gift or birthday gift. This is because the gift I got her was from a fair when she was looking at it and really liked it, so I bought it. It would be $500, which is quite a lot for a gift, which could have been for her birthday, but she wanted it then, and now it's no longer a surprise. I love her dearly, and I would rather see her smile than wait till a particular day to give her something she may not like. Please be respectful, but am I the asshole for not giving her gifts, specifically on her birthday and Christmas? Okay, I think I know what he means. In the last paragraph there, I think that came off wrong. I think what he's saying is like, he's not saying that he wants to buy her something and threaten to take it away. He's saying that if they buy something together in the heat of the moment that she loves, he would put it away and hide it in the closet until Christmas or birthday comes, and then it will serve as the Christmas or birthday present.
Yes.
So I think a lot of people do that. A lot of families do that. I feel like my parents did that a little bit when we were younger. Yeah. There was definitely gifts that they would buy us like 2 months before Christmas or something like that, and they'd be like, well, you can have it on Christmas. So I get that. I feel like OP seems a little out of touch.
Yes.
What are your thoughts?
So, as someone who loves giving gifts and surprising people and seeing the looks on their faces and making them feel special because I remembered something they said from like 5 months ago and then I bought it. Like, I love doing that stuff.
Yeah.
So I can empathize with the girlfriend where like I also love to have gifts that are surprises and that are thoughtful and especially for occasions. I feel like that's always fun to like for birthdays and Christmas. Like I'm not trying to say like it sounds materialistic or anything. It's just like it's the thought behind it and it's like a really good way to show love. Yeah. So I can appreciate that. And yeah, it just sounds like OP isn't really understanding like the reasoning behind her wanting these gifts because OP is like, well, you know, I spent a lot of money. Like I'm up to like $1,000 just this year. Like that's not the point. Like the point is like the thought and like the act of like love.
Yeah.
Instead.
It almost is a difference in love languages.
Yes.
In a sense, like he's buying gifts for his girlfriend because he loves seeing the look on her face, but then she really wants this specific thing done for her, which is a special gift on Christmas or her birthday, but all of a sudden he's refusing to give it to her. So it's like, if seeing the look on her face, that like super happy and surprised look is what makes you happy, wouldn't you want to give her the thing that she wants the most, which would make her the most happy and give her this amazing reaction, which is a gift on Christmas and her birthday? Like if that's what she's specifically asking you for and you love to see her happy, why wouldn't you just do that for her?
Right.
And I get that he's like, oh, I hate buying expensive gifts because what if the person doesn't like them? Well, it's called a gift receipt and buy it within the 30-day window that you're going to give it to her so that you can return it if she doesn't like it. And also, if you know your girlfriend well, I feel like you can take a guess on what she would like. And even if she doesn't like it in the moment, just getting something from you would probably make her happy, even if she has to exchange it for a different color or whatever later on. So I don't think that he's a complete asshole. I think he's just missing something.
Yes.
And maybe if someone just explained it to him, maybe he's listening now. I think that would help him. He doesn't seem like a lost cause.
No.
Just a little clueless.
Just needs milk or whatever.
Yes, from our last episode or one of our past episodes. He just needs a little milk. Yeah. The overall vote on this was asshole.
Oh,
I know.
And it said, please be kind.
Yeah.
Oh.
So the top comment is, how is it that you're bad at gift giving, but also seem to delight in gift giving? Yes. That's kind of what I was getting at. He's like, I love giving her gifts, but I'm bad at giving her gifts. But it's like, are you bad at giving her gifts if you spent thousands of dollars on gifts for her?
Are you just dumb?
Or is that just an excuse? You're like,
true.
Oh, I'm bad at giving gifts.
I
can't get you a gift.
I feel like that's a common cop-out, and I hate that.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't know, like, I will give people, not that I'm like trying to get gifts out of everyone, but it's just like, sometimes you can be so clear with like things you like or things you want, and it's like, you can't struggle with getting me something because like, I'm just like, I'm being so clear about it.
Yeah.
Like, and then people are like, oh, I just like, I'm not good at giving gifts. It's like, but I've pretty much told you exactly what would like make me happy. So at this point, it's just you not wanting to do it.
That's a good point. He also, if he really wanted to get her something, could just ask her, like, oh, what are 5 things that you saw this year that you think you would like? And then buy her one of those things, and it'll still be a surprise.
Yeah.
Or get her something in the same realm, or ask her a category, something like that. And then, then she can basically tell you without telling you.
Yes.
And it'll still be a surprise.
Wait, also that it killed me when he was like, I sent her the rings for her to approve. Yeah. The oath rings or whatever. I would have been like, just buy, like, don't show me, just buy it. Like,
that's so hard because what if she doesn't like it? Like if she's picky.
Yeah. And what if
like
it's like non-refundable?
Yeah, I'm picky with jewelry, so I get that one. But I also love surprises.
Yeah.
I love surprises. So it would kind of make me sad if every time I was going to get a gift from my partner, I had to approve it first. Yeah. I would eventually just be like, dude, I don't even fucking care if I like it. Just buy me something and we'll deal with it after.
It like already has sentimentality behind it because it's a gift from the person you love anyways. So
exactly. So true.
Yeah.
Another one of the top comments is, yes, the asshole. I understand where you're coming from, but it sounds like she wants you to surprise her with a gift that you think she would like. As long as you put thought into it, she will love it. You don't have to worry about her not liking it because as long as it comes from your heart, she will. However, it was an asshole move for you to say that you will take back gifts and re-gift it to her for birthdays and Christmas. I think that might have come out wrong, though.
Yes, I agree.
I'm like, I think you explained that in a way that made you look bad, but I don't think it's like you're giving it to her and you're like, surprise, don't give it back. You're like, let's just pretend
like,
it wasn't purchased today. Yeah. You know? I feel like that's not what's making you an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think just not, I think not the asshole, just a little clueless.
Yeah.
You agree?
Yes, I do.
So we're going opposite of what the Reddit consensus was for the second time.
All right.
Wow. I like that we are making our own decisions and not just going off of what everyone else says.
Exactly. We're, what's it called? Trailblazing.
Yes, trailblazing. We're seeing the best in people.
Yeah.
No one's an asshole.
We just have the spirit of Christmas within us.
That is so true. Wow. It must have been the Santa hats.
That's true.
It must be these decorations.
Put us in the right mindset.
Am I the asshole for asking my girlfriend to put the money she would spend buying me Christmas gifts into her savings instead? My girlfriend, female 20, went all out for me, male 20, for Christmas last year and the year before, and I love her so much for it. I have communicated many times how much I appreciate her willingness to spend on me. I am a student and she works full-time, making not a lot of money, but decent considering our age. She has a shopping addiction and thus will come home with a new pair of shoes literally every week. Not an exaggeration. Sometimes it's more like 3 pairs a week.
I'm dead. Go off, queen.
I guess I'm more of a minimalist and I don't subscribe to consumption in the same way. I buy her gifts when I have the money, but I don't buy myself anything except food to cook. She was telling me how she is planning on spending even more on me this Christmas, saying she will commit an entire paycheck to pay for my gifts.
She's like, get ready.
I feel like she actually might have a shopping addiction, which is kind of problematic in itself, but I guess that's not the question.
This sounds like how my boyfriend might describe me, but so it's fine.
You will probably have a good answer to this story then.
Yes,
you can speak
I'm sure of it.
You can speak from experience.
Yeah.
Okay, continuing on. She was telling me how she is planning on spending even more on me this Christmas, saying she will commit an entire paycheck to my gifts. I have told her I don't need much repeatedly and that she needs to save her money more, as only about $50 goes into her savings each paycheck at the moment. She asked me to make myself a Christmas list, and on the phone I told her this isn't necessary. I said all I would like is an H&M suit, about $100, and for her to put the rest of her money that she would have spent on me into her savings instead. I did not anticipate that all hell would break loose and she would get defensive about spending money on me. I am poor and probably only able to get her a gift that's max $100 if I pull all of my own small savings. I'm not insecure about the imbalance of money. I really just honestly need her to get a start on saving so we can eventually start our lives together when we are able to. I see myself with this girl for the rest of my life, but I don't see why my request is so incredulous that she flat out refused and said she will spend even more money on gifts for me. She's saying it's how she shows her love, but I get...
Okay.
She's
I'm
such a mood.
I'm feeling called out right now.
She is such a mood. She says it's how she shows her love, but I get enough just being with her. I really don't want her to do this for me, but she doesn't want to follow my simple wishes. Am I the asshole?
Okay. I love her.
She's like, you don't want a gift? Bitch, I'm spending $2,000 on you instead of $1,000.
Literally.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh. So I have to say, I don't come home with 3 pairs of shoes a week. I truly don't. But one of my main forms of stress relief is like just scrolling on clothing websites. I don't necessarily always buy things. My parents might say otherwise because I still live at home and I'm getting packages like every day. But I return most of them.
Okay.
I just like get stuff to try it out and then I return it. But anyways, I am siding with the girlfriend.
Really? Okay. Okay.
That would make me want to spend more too.
Really?
Yes.
So interesting.
Well, I would be like, don't worry about my savings. Just because I don't seem financially like intelligent to you doesn't mean I am not financially intelligent.
Okay. So,
don't worry about me.
So are you saying that from your perspective though, because you spend within your means and you still allow yourself to save? Because I'm guessing that if this girl who's 20 and who has a boyfriend that's 20 and the boyfriend's still in school and he said she's not making a ton of money, she might still be spending the same amount of money as you.
Okay, that's true. Yeah. I do save my money pretty well.
So I feel like you're in a different headspace because you know that at the same time you are still being financially literate and educated and safe, but this girl is not, or at least that's how her boyfriend sees it.
Yes, that's true.
And I think the boyfriend did have good intentions.
Yeah.
It is so freaking funny that she's like, you don't want a gift? I'll buy you more
get
gifts.
ready.
It's like you would think she would do the opposite and be like, oh, you only want one little H&M suit? Well, now you get nothing.
Yeah.
She's just like going the opposite and just like giving him more and more. Like that's
the
so
funniest
freaking
part.
funny.
So that, I just love that. I love that move.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm siding with her. I do see what the boyfriend's trying to do. I think it's very sweet that he says, please just like put your money away for your future. Like, I don't need anything.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that. I just think this is hilarious.
I think they have opposite love languages, and the girlfriend's love language is gift giving, and the boyfriend's is maybe acts of service because
even like quality time.
Yeah, quality time. And because, he gets his love from spending time with her. And then the one act of service he wants is put money into your finances, and that's my gift. So yeah, quality time is probably his main one, and gift giving is hers. I think they need to consider that, because they're never gonna see eye to eye if they don't understand that it's not just this like little request. It's not just this one thing I want to do during Christmas. It's my love language. It's how I feel loved, and it's how I give love, even though the way that you give love isn't the way your partner necessarily wants to receive love. So they need to have a conversation about that. And if they can't see eye to eye, hate to say you're not compatible, but it's possible you're not. But OP seems so nice that he seems like he really loves her and wants the best for her. I think they just need to have a conversation about it. Okay, so asshole or not asshole?
Not asshole. I'm just...
But you still take the side of the girlfriend with...
buying more.
Yeah.
It's just so funny.
That's fine.
But no, OP is not an asshole by any means.
Yeah.
Seems very sweet.
I think so too. Okay, wow, we have another not asshole. We are in the Christmas mood. The overall vote on that one was also not asshole.
Oh, good. Didn't get hate comments.
No hate comments, but the top comments were not the asshole, but the way that you do it matters. Maybe try it like this. Hey, I love that you are so generous with me, but when it comes to our relative income at Christmas time, I end up feeling bad that I can't do for you what you do for me. Can we set a budget and stick to it? And if you really can't help yourself, then just put that money into a savings account. One day, that can be a vacation or a down payment on something. Knowing that money was there for the future would make me happier than any material possessions. Flawless.
That was beautiful. Reddit is really a good resource sometimes.
I know. Sometimes I'm like, am I about to post on Reddit about my problems?
Yeah.
And just ask other people to solve them? Yeah.
All of the well-spoken, experienced, wise people out there are all on Reddit, it seems.
It's actually amazing. I love it. Yeah. I spend so many hours on Reddit, and I read so many stories that don't even make it into the podcast.
Oh, really?
Yeah. They're just so interesting.
You should have like the B-list, like for an episode, just random, like no theme, just like B-list stories.
Yeah, I feel like we can definitely do ones that are no theme, because some are so interesting, but I'm like, what would this get put under? So that's why I'm making these weird themes, like he needs some milk. Yeah. I loved that one. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I don't like his Christmas gifts? My husband and I have been married for 15 years and together a few more, so a long time. I love the man, and he is, most of the time, a thoughtful dude. He is a major procrastinator, though, and this is a problem every year at Christmas. We live really far from family, so always have to mail or order gifts early. My husband thinks of custom, thoughtful gifts for people like a week before Christmas, and they don't make it there in time. Then he panics and orders something else that might be late, etc. every year. He also gets upset since a lot of the gifts for our kids are from me, but I just order them in time, so I have trouble feeling bad about that. So this year, I started talking about what to get people, telling him we should brainstorm together and trying to help. This morning, I mentioned getting started and said, this will be good. We won't have to buy crappy mall gifts a few days before. He asked me if I meant the gifts that he buys, and I said, well, yeah. This really set him off on a tirade about how ungrateful of a person I was and how thoughtful he is and how my gifts are awful, even if they are on time.
Oof.
Okay. Wow. They're spiraling together. Yeah. Okay. I really was surprised. I told him I didn't think this would be an issue and that it was a flaw he's had for years and he knew about it. Like, we talk about it and crisis manage his purchases every December, so how can he be surprised? That made him more mad. I'm not sure why I'm the asshole here, since this is clearly a him problem. I'm not sure how I could have been nicer about it. Am I just expected to smile at my last minute mall finds for the rest of my life? In past years, I've mentioned things like maybe just one nicer gift for me instead of many little things. Or I like things I wouldn't buy for myself. Maybe not things I could just go get. Or that one year when you got me those earrings, I really liked them. This is the first year I've been so direct, so maybe that's why he's so upset. But maybe this is how other family members feel about getting last minute gifts too. I don't think she's the asshole. I can see why her husband's upset, but yeah, I don't think she's the asshole.
No, I don't think so either, but she could have gone about it better. Like,
Yeah.
They just kind of both blew up, it seemed.
Yeah, like maybe she didn't have to say, it'll be good. Then we won't have to buy crappy mall gifts a few days before.
That's terrible.
And then he's like, are you talking about me? And she's like, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe you could say, if we start now, we can get people even better gifts. And if you want to put a little dig in there about rushing around, just say, and then by the week of Christmas, we'll be all done and we won't have to do any rushing like anyone else. Haha. Like, be on each other's team, you know?
Exactly.
Like, you don't have to, like, put him down just because he's a procrastinator.
Right.
I'm sure he doesn't choose to be like that. He probably didn't even realize that he was doing it until it's done.
Right.
And then the cycle just repeats every year.
Right. It's probably just the way he goes through life.
Yeah.
Like, and so that's how his Christmas season goes every year too. But maybe like it's how he does everything in life. Maybe he's just like last minute. And there's a lot of people like that.
Yeah. And he probably doesn't even realize it until the hindsight. But then subconsciously he's like, oh, Christmas is just a stressful time where I have to run around and get mall gifts last minute. But, like, maybe he hasn't even realized that there's a way for him to avoid doing that. You could have told him that without making him feel like his gifts were crappy. But,
I know.
I mean, I do appreciate that she says she has mentioned, like, oh, maybe just one nicer gift for me or something I wouldn't buy myself, and giving him a specific example, like, I really like the earrings. Like, he could have maybe picked up on the hint. But I don't know. I also feel like he might be self-conscious about the gifts that he does buy, because if you really felt secure and happy in the gifts that you were giving people, it's likely that you'd be more inclined to feel sad and surprised instead of defensive and mad when someone confronts you about it.
Yes.
So maybe he also feels bad about it. I think just more honest communication will help you get past this. It's like, we're talking about Christmas gifts. Like, it's really not the most important thing in life, in marriage, in your family. Like, there's way more important things to stress about. So I think
that is like an interesting point, though, about maybe he does it like subconsciously, like on purpose.
Oh, you think he does it on purpose?
Well, like he may not realize it. So I studied psychology in college. In one of our classes, we learned about this theory, and it was called self-handicapping at the time. I don't know if that's still like the term for it. The example used in class was like, oh, you subconsciously feel you're not going to do well on a test, so you wait until the last minute to study. So then when you don't do well on the test, you can say, well, it's because I didn't have enough time to study. Like, you kind of give yourself an excuse, or like, you know what I mean?
Oh my
like,
God, yes.
You like, I guess, validate yourself in some way by creating a reason for why you didn't do well. So yeah, maybe he's like waiting till the last minute, and then he's like, well, like, you're not gonna like my gifts anyways. You know, like, you know, he's just expecting the gifts to not be good, and so he's giving himself a reason subconsciously.
Wow. That is so interesting.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what Apple does with their products, how they, every time they release a product, they just like create a problem for you so that they can be like, oh, but here's the solution.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I guess it's not exactly the same thing as that.
Yeah.
That is so interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So he's purposely or maybe not purposely, but like subconsciously, purposely waiting till the last minute so that if people don't like his gifts, he can be like, oh, well, I didn't even have time to order you what you deserved.
Yes.
And it's like, well, think about it 3 weeks earlier and then maybe you can.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I think that the wife needs to just talk to him again. And if he continues to be unreasonable, I don't know what the solution would be, other than if it's something that affects you to the point where it's affecting your happiness and your mental health in life, and it's not something that you can just shake off. Because obviously there's things that couples don't agree with, but there's some things that you can agree to disagree, and it doesn't affect your everyday life, and it doesn't affect your happiness. If it's to the point where it's really making you question like your happiness in life, then probably seek therapy and get an outside source to help you get to the root of the issue. Because you deserve that. It seems like you have tried to go about it in a healthy way, and it didn't work. And then you tried to talk to him about it. It didn't work the first time. Try another conversation. But yeah, not the asshole.
No, not an asshole.
And I don't think the husband's the asshole either. I think he also is just a little bit clueless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No assholes here.
No assholes.
8 non-assholes.
Oh my gosh. And how many assholes do we have?
4.
We only have 4 assholes.
Yeah.
And we included an extra asshole too.
That's
from one
true.
of the stories.
Yes.
Yeah. This might be our last one, if it's a good one. We can end on a crazy mother-in-law.
I
Or mom.
love it.
I feel like those are always a positive experience.
Yeah, they're fun. Just fun.
Am I the asshole for refusing to ask my mom to buy Christmas presents for our children, though my wife wants me to? Oh, so this one's not a crazy mother. It's possibly a crazy wife. My mom and my wife have a pretty awkward relationship. I feel like they flat out hate each other, but try to fake it for me. One of my mom's boundaries is she and our children will never spend Christmas with my mom. I could if I wanted to, but obviously I'm not going to leave my kids on Christmas, so we just don't see my mom. It makes me a little sad, but it isn't a huge deal. My mom's never said anything about it, so I thought we were all good. But my wife recently brought up how she finds it weird that my mom never buys her grandchildren Christmas presents. I said, to be fair, she doesn't see them that often, probably doesn't know what they're into, and never sees them over Christmas. My wife said it was still weird. She pointed out how her grandparents never spend Christmas with us, as they are old and live out of state, but they still mail gifts. She said it isn't about the gifts, but the principle, and that my mom has no excuse, as she is very financially comfortable. She asked me to gently bring it up, and I said no. I said it is embarrassing, and I'm not going to go and beg my mom for Christmas gifts, especially when we aren't willing to spend holidays with her. I feel it comes off greedy and entitled. My wife is currently furious with me. Your wife is an entitled asshole.
Biatch.
What? Bitch. You don't like your mother-in-law and you do everything in your power to cut her off, which is fine. Go off. But then when she doesn't engage in your life and your children's lives, you're mad about it?
It doesn't work that way. The wife could keep it just between the wife and the mom, but she doesn't.
Yeah.
And she keeps the kids away from the mom at Christmas time, so it's like you could say like, oh, like you should still send the kids gifts because like they're not really involved in this hatred that they have for each other, but the wife is like choosing to keep the kids away from the mom. So
the wife is not even giving the grandma a chance to engage with her kids.
Right.
She's like hiding the kids from them.
Yes. So like even though the kids shouldn't really be involved in this unhealthy relationship and like whatever situation between the two women, I don't think she should be sending the kids gifts.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't. Well, I don't know. It's hard to say what you would do if you were the grandma in the situation. Mm-hmm. But I totally see why the grandma doesn't. It's like you have no relationship with the grandkids because your son's wife and you do not get along, which it's like it happens in life. Mm-hmm. I don't think the grandma is in the wrong at all.
Right.
For not sending gifts to children that she barely knows. I mean, I guess it would be a nice gesture if she did, but she's not required to.
Right.
At all.
And it's like the wife is like actively keeping the kids away from the grandmom, so it just seems fair that the grandmom actively doesn't give gifts to her grandchildren.
Exactly.
Even though like they should not be involved at all. It's just kind of like feels like that's the balance of this situation right now.
Yeah, agreed.
So
agreed.
That stinks, but
it's so weird that the wife thinks that the grandma should be sending gifts. It's like you're literally doing everything in your power to cut her off.
Yes, and then you're getting mad. Like
It's giving like if this family moved to a new address, the wife would try to not tell the grandma where they even live, but then get mad when the grandma doesn't visit them. I'm like, I feel like that's the kind of person the wife is.
Yeah.
It's like she will see what the enemy, aka the grandma, is doing wrong in every situation, even when you don't give her the opportunity to be right or do what's right.
Or like the wife is a direct cause of the grandma being wrong.
Exactly. And then she gets mad at her for being wrong. It's like, please.
Come on.
Top comment, not the asshole. Your wife is, though. She is the one who decided y'all will never spend Christmas with your mom. Does she have a good reason? And was there a discussion? If she is treating your mom in that way, why would your mom send gifts? Does she send one to your mother from all the kids? Great question. Does your wife, your asshole wife, send your mom a gift? She does sound greedy and entitled. I totally agree with that.
Yeah.
OP said, my mom is difficult and I can understand why my wife doesn't want to spend Christmas with her. I think she is a good person deep down, but spoiled and difficult. Also, the family she married into is awful and she invites them. We usually give my mom something small and edible through the mail. Okay. Maybe your wife isn't. I mean,
Wait, family that she married into is awful?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's like his extended family.
Oh, no.
And she still invites all of them.
Except the grandma.
Except the grandma, I guess. Someone said, I don't think the above excuses your wife unilaterally deciding that you can never see your mom on Christmas. That's true. Just because you marry into a bad family and you try to be open and you're a good person, even though you're spoiled and difficult, it's like, yeah, that doesn't give you the right to just decide that your husband is never going to see his mom on Christmas ever. Mm-hmm. It's like, where do you get off?
Yeah. Who gave you that authority?
She's lucky that her husband is not an asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like the wife.
No, I'm not a fan.
It's giving entitled biatch. Mm-hmm. But we have another nice person, not an asshole.
So the non-assholes win, even though...
Yes. I thought
we did encounter some assholes.
Yeah, I thought it was going to go the other way.
Me too.
Yeah. I feel like you should add a yes just for that wife.
Yes.
She was a huge part of that story.
She was. Trying to keep these lines straight.
I love this tally board. It's so fun.
Okay, so final count is 5 assholes and 9 non-assholes.
Wow. There is hope in the world. This is wonderful news.
And there it is.
Should we present it to the camera?
Yeah.
If you're watching on video, look at the screen so that you can see our tally board managed by Trish throughout the episode.
Thank you.
Wow. What does this mean?
What can we learn from this?
I'm kind of glad that not the asshole won. I wasn't expecting that.
I know, I wasn't either.
Oh my gosh, wow.
Yeah.
There are so many good stories like this. I almost want to do a second week of Am I the Asshole Christmas edition.
Oh, you should.
There's just so many good ones. Yeah. Maybe we'll film another. I don't know. Maybe we'll go into the new year and then recount, like we'll do it after Christmas and then read all the stories about the people that just experienced Christmas.
The fresh Christmas assholes.
Yeah. Okay. We'll reassess. Well, this was so fun. Hopefully you guys agreed with us. And if you did not, feel free to comment on our videos, on our Instagram. Send us a kind DM. Mm-hmm. We would love to hear what everyone else thinks. Thank you so much for listening. And we'll see you in the next one. Bye. Bye.